It's time for the main event. It's the Shoe Shine.
¿Qué onda, vatos locos? Damas y caballeros, it's your boy Dave in the 702 coming back at you for a special Taco Tuesday lunch edition of the Shoe Shine, the ultimate boxing recap right here on YouTube Landia. Saludos everybody joining me, taking time out of your busy day. If you're at lunch break right now, if you're done for the day on the East Coast, I appreciate the hell out of you. I respect the hell out of that. Well, guys, it's been a few days since I last talked to you guys. I want to give a big shout out to Angelo Leo of Las Vegas, the New Mexico guy, New Mexico champion, featherweight champion that lives here in Las Vegas, did it. Guys, on Friday night, he went to Japan. Well, not Friday. He had been there acclimating, I believe, ever since the Naoya Inoue fight where I got a chance to meet him here at the T-Mobile and talk to him for a brief moment before making his way as the current featherweight champion, went all the way to Japan. I thought that fight was going to start around 11:30. That's at least what I had heard Paulie Malignaggi say on ProBox, guys. But the main event didn't get well underway until maybe 2 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Oh, man, I'm old now, guys, on a Friday night. But it was an electrifying performance, him versus Tomoki Kameda. Saludos to Wiley Coyote. I appreciate you for being in here on a lunch stream. Gonna make it special for you guys. I got a taco from Don Tor Taco, one of my favorite places in Vegas that does Tuesday tacos for $1.79. I think I might make myself a quick margarita. But again, guys, Angelo Leo there, featherweight champion out of Las Vegas, has a co-promotional contract, I believe, with not only ProBox, but Top Rank as well. Makes a successful defense against Tomoki Kameda, guys. The most Mexican-Japanese guy ever. And now at 33 years old for Tomoki Kameda, he has so many fights that it's probably time for him to consider retirement. He comes from a successful boxing family, 3 brothers. He himself was raised in Mexico. I had played a clip last week, guys, of that. Do I still have that clip? Because it's wild, guys. Let's take a quick look at who he fought, Tomoki Kameda.
¿Escuchas?
Sí,
¿Cómo estás?
muy bien, muy bien.
Vamos a hacer una buena pelea y llegues bien preparado.
Sí, no, estoy listo.
Sí, porque aquí la gente quiere ver la pelea, buena pelea.
Ok, sí, no, vamos a darles un gran pelea.
Sí.
Ya sabes.
Así quiere la gente.
Ok.
And it was a great fight. Exactly. The most Mexican, El Mexicanito is how he likes to describe himself as his middle name. Raised in Guadalajara, learned how to fight, obviously, in a style very similar to Canelo Alvarez, being a Guadalajara fighter. Great fight. But what I really wanted to draw attention to today, guys, is some very, very sad and concerning news. You guys always know I keep you guys abreast whether or not there are some serious injuries in the sport of boxing or even a death. And the co-main event, which had started maybe like 2 hours prior to that on Friday night, was between a Filipino champion, Taduran, versus strawweight title contender Jinhiro Shigeoka, guys. And this fight was ridiculous. 2 guys, obviously 105 pounds. Most people, most fighters in the smaller weight classes, they throw so much more punches. And because of that high volume, you get some really, really exciting matchups. And this Filipino matchup versus the Japanese, toe-to-toe, back and forth. It was really close going into the final rounds, guys. But in the final rounds, the current champion, and this was a rematch. Taduran, the Filipino strawweight champion, in a rematch, really stepped it up in the round 11 and 12. And what was absolutely frightening was after the final round, guys, and shout out to my boy Fonzie. I'll be seeing you this weekend, guys. It is fight week here in Las Vegas, Friday and Saturday. But unfortunately for Shigeoka, the Japanese contender, he had to get immediate medical attention after this fight. And at one point, he collapsed in a very frightening situation. Looked like he had potentially been going into some kind of, it looked kind of like a seizure to me. Then it looked like half of his body started to freeze up, kind of like a stroke. and it was very alarming. Obviously, medical teams came in, and ambulances on standby as they are required all around the world for ambulances to be there. And he was carried away on a stretcher in a very, very concerning and scary moment. The co-main event, Taduran doing the job he had to do to retain his championship in a brutal, brutal rematch, a very exciting rematch. But I'm here to report, guys, that today we have found out that he is alive. Shigeoka is alive. I'm not telling you the guy died, and that's not at all what I want to tell you on a Tuesday, that another fighter has died. But it was so serious, and this was 100% life-threatening. This is one of those moments where fighters around the world, potentially even in the U.S., could say, I'm fine, go back to the dressing room, and say, I'm fine, and later we find out 2 days later that they die. So the latest news was that it was pretty damn serious. And guys, Angelo Leo, he is the world champion because he beat El Venado Lopez by such a devastating left hook knockout that Angelo Leo had to take some pretty serious time off. He is now back, the former champion. But Shigeoka had to undergo brain surgery this weekend following the loss to the Filipino champion Taduran. And what that tells us was that there was a hematopa. Oh, God, what is the exact words here, guys? Let me tell you. It's an inside the head brain bleed, right? A serious one. And I usually can read this. Craniotomy surgical procedure that involves temporary removal of the skull to expose the brain for various reasons. This includes brain tumors, blood clots, repairing skull fractures. Guys, he will never fight again, unfortunately. Very, very sad. Very, very sad news. But he is going to live, and I hope that he does not sustain any permanent brain damage. Again, Angelo Leo, the champion that was featured in the main event, he hit El Venado Lopez, the former featherweight champion, so hard with that left hook that he himself sustained brain injury, and he's back. El Venado Lopez is fighting again. Saludos, everybody joining us. Fonzie, Latin Lover 69. He says, "Cubele carnas, SSB." Yeah, man, this is really, really serious, guys. Obviously, this is the most dangerous sport in the world. There really is none other than except MMA, but MMA somehow manages to have less of these brutal, traumatic brain injuries. The good news is it looks like he is going to survive, but he is in an induced coma. So for now, saludos to Linda Hernandez. For the Brave Warriors, I'm going to make myself a Tuesday margarita because I work from home, and who's going to tell on me? Who is going to tell on me, guys? All right. Oh, that's a lot of tequila. That's the end of that bottle, guys. And usually I don't drink Cazadores. Usually it's too cheap for my taste, man. I want a little bit more refined than that, but when I get on a budget. And so again, guys, if you missed it last week, spicy mango lemonade from Trader Joe's makes the perfect base for this mango margarita. All right, that's about a portion and a half there, guys. Bear with me there. I'll play some music while I shake it up here. Good to see you. Good to saludos to Jimenez in the building. Linda, Latin Lover 69. Everybody, I'm going to shake this one up. By the way, I promised tacos. It is Taco Tuesday. Oh, look at that. Beautiful, refreshing summer cocktail. Let me tell you guys, this weekend is going to be brutal in Las Vegas. Fonzie, he'll be in the building. 105 to potentially 106 on Saturday. I'm not fucking looking forward to it. I'll tell you something. When you live in Las Vegas, when you come here in the summer, you guys know that the parking lots, which aren't air conditioned, the heat just like stays in there, like is brutal. The parking lot will be 120 if it's 106 outside. Also, I may be going tomorrow. Stay tuned. Make sure you have your notifications on. I may be going tomorrow to the Mandalay Bay for the grand arrivals. Caleb Plant will be the headliner. Charlo will be in the building. And I probably am going to go down to the Mandalay Bay tomorrow afternoon. It looks like it's a go. And like I said, things are just going to keep heating up this weekend. On Friday, Golden Boy is in the building at the Virgin Hotel Casino for Beck the Bully as the main event. We got Friday and Saturday. So guys, again, a big congratulations to Las Vegas by the way of the 505 Albuquerque, New Mexico. Congratulations to Angelo Leo. He now gets to make and choose a mandatory defense. Very interesting. He gets to pick who he wants to fight next. So let me show you guys really quickly the 126-pound rankings, because it's a very exciting division, as is super featherweight, 130 pounds. And I got a big story for you regarding that division and Japan and Mexico. All right, featherweight rankings. We just saw him fight. He sang mariachi. I did a little mariachi on the channel. Rafael Espinoza of Mexico. Angelo Leo makes his home here in Las Vegas, ranked number 2. Nick the Wrecking Ball. Oh, I love that guy from the UK. Also a world champion and PBC's very own. Shout out to Philadelphia. Shout out to my co-host, Drew Evo, Stephen Fulton. Luis Alberto Lopez, known as El Venado, still ranked number 5. Brandon Figueroa, once champion, 6. Bruce Carrington, a top-ranked contender. Very interesting person on this list, because if I'm Angelo Leo, I'm not giving him a chance, man. I'm going to be honest with you guys. He's not on this list right now, but shout out to everybody back in Salinas, California, because I think that Salinas' very own Ruben Villa would be a fantastic fight for Angelo Leo. Ruben Villa has 2 notable wins in his amateur career over Shakur Stevenson. Not only does he have a notable win over 2 amateur wins over Shakur Stevenson, which literally nobody did other than him that I can think of, but he also has a very notable win over Luis Alberto Lopez. And I saw a very poor performance from Ruben Villa in Las Vegas about a year and a half back, but it was against Segawa. And Segawa is an African fighter that came over and, in my opinion, beat Bruce Carrington. Somehow he got robbed. Somehow Bruce Carrington got a gift. He didn't beat Segawa in my book. Segawa's dangerous. For Angelo Leo, look, this guy, man, that's not the type of opponent. But Ruben Villa, I like him getting another opportunity. And it's a great fight. Top Rank still might have a little bit of control over Ruben Villa's career. I like that. It's not a stay busy fight. It's a very challenging fight against a certain type of slick boxer in Ruben Villa. Make it happen, Top Rank. I think it's a great... Consider it, Angelo. If Angelo ever listens to the Shoe Shine, saludos to all the 16 people joining us. I appreciate you guys. All right, there is boxing tomorrow. Tomorrow, guys. Fonzie says, if I make it there on time, I'll hit you up, and hopefully we can check out the Beck the Bully match. Wouldn't you know it, guys, that the Golden Boy card for this Friday, Beck the Bully versus Fulgham, and shout out to my boy Mario Mungia out here on YouTube streets. He interviewed Fulgham just a couple weeks ago in preparation for this main event on Friday night at the Virgin Hotel Casino. Tickets are now, you ready for this? Tickets are only $50 plus fees for some pretty good seats. Those mother effers came way down, Fonzie. I swear to God, those same tickets were over $115 a couple weeks ago. Now, I'm not rushing to see this fight, guys. We just saw Beck the Bully. Fonzie, who's in the chat, the fight was so bad, such a bad performance by Beck the Bully, that the opponent, which I believe was this African-American fighter from either Chicago or Philly, was at the bar immediately after fighting Beck the Bully, who's going to be the main event on Friday. He's at the fucking bar right after the fight. Not a scratch on his face, not a bruise. And Fonzie says, can I buy you a drink? The guy couldn't wait to have a drink. Yeah, he came all the way. He worked hard. He didn't come away with the victory. But he's having a drink with Fonzie at the bar immediately after fighting Beck the Bully. I'm not rushing to go see this fight. It's 105, 106 degrees, but maybe Fonzie, maybe we'll end up going. It is going to be brutally hot this Friday night. Shout out to F Donuts and the F Donuts gang over there on his channel. If they're watching live, I'm not sure if you're live right now, but saludos to everybody out there doing their thing. All right, this is Friday night. I'm going to get to Saturday. And we got some fantastic seats to see Caleb Plant. Everybody rides with Caleb Plant. Raza rides for him. You know, he got the low riders. He goes to LA. He has the support of all the Raza. They're down to fight for Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant reminds me, guys, for people that watch prison genre on YouTube or like to watch about politics, and like, I know it's immature for me as a Chicano in my 40s to still listen to that kind of stuff, that genre, but I grew up in the hood, guys. And in fact, what's very interesting, some of you guys that are listening might be familiar with Mark the Other Me, a Las Vegas live streamer, one of the very best, you know, also content creator. If you watch Mark the Other Me a couple weeks ago, he went to San Francisco. It's on his channel. He went a video. He went in search of the best burrito, and I actually know the guy, Tommy. Shout out to Tommy. If you're listening out there, Tommy told him you got to try this burrito spot in San Francisco, which is the barrio I grew up in. And Mark did a whole vlog on my neighborhood, La Misión, the Mission District, which is where they invented the California burrito. Unfortunately for Mark, he thought they were going to rob him. I mean, this is the hood. The hood has changed a lot in the 20-some years that I grew up, and that neighborhood was active. Active, guys. The barrio was active. But you guys go check that out if you haven't, and tell him Shoeshine sent you to see the barrio, the hood, guys. How did I even get off this tangent? Must be the tequila. How did I even get to that, man? All right, Fonzie lets me know his name was Dynamite Stevenson, and the fighter was a cool guy. Yeah, absolutely. Cheers to them. I hope to see him back in the ring too. So that's Friday night. Friday night we have this at the Virgin Hotel and Casino. There was some other quick fights before I get to this main fight that's going to happen overnight as we speak. Going back to Japan, guys. We have the potential. I put it in the thumbnail. Sugar Nunez from Mexico, from Sinaloa, is going to Japan. And I don't know why Japan does weekday fights, but they do, guys. And it's going to be in the middle of the night. Only the most hardcore boxing fans are even going to attempt to watch this title fight. 130-pound championship fight. IBF title is on the line. There could be a brand new Mexican champion tomorrow. Why is that important? Because domestically, 130-pound division is fucking red hot, okay? Emmanuel Navarrete, the top-ranked champion at 130. You got Oshaki Foster. Then you got Lamont Roach, who just, in my opinion, beat Tank Davis. He beat Tank Davis. He did. They didn't give him the nod. They said it wasn't a knockdown. Lots and lots of bullshit. By the way, did you guys, anybody here see that outfit that Tank's wearing? And I got to ask you guys, is this too much drip? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I wish I could have this much style, but I don't know about this exact style. Is this too much drip, or is this gone overboard? Is it a little bit on the zesty side? All right. I mean, it does include what looks like a full purse to the outfit, but I do feel the black and gold. I got a lot of black and gold elements in my house design there. I don't know about those underwears, man. What are those, leopard underwear? Is this too much? Drop it in the comments, guys. You guys know if you leave me a comment after the show, it increases the visibility of the channel. Is this too zesty? Is this drip or zesty, man? Drop it in the comments, guys. Drop it in the comments. All right, guys. Let's get to this fight going on. That's tomorrow. Saludos to Bud Rios. Appreciate you being in here, homie. We got to fight. We got to fight tonight, I guess. In the middle of the night, there's going to be a new champion. Let me get to this fight real quick and tell you guys all about it and why it's so important to me. We got Masanori Rkesishi. Ooh, he is a tall 130-pound contender. And he's going to be fighting Nunez. Nunez from Sinaloa is 27 wins, 1 loss with 27 KOs, a nearly 100% knockout ratio. Anthony Casachi, who just fought 2 weeks ago in the UK, gave up his title because he did not want to fight Sugar Nunez, who was the mandatory by the IBF. Now, the IBF is they play by the rules, guys. IBF can be a thorn in your ass. For Canelo, they stripped Canelo of his undisputed status. They let William Skull fight for that vacant belt. And then William Skull becomes champion and ends up getting a shot at Canelo for the biggest payday of his life. I'm not going to compare William Skull's Cuban style to Sinaloa's Eduardo Sugar Nunez, guys. Sugar Nunez has dynamite in his hands, man. He is explosive. Only has one career loss, and it's a very long time ago. And Anthony Rkesishi, who just fought against Lee Wood, gave up his title. He said, I'm 36 years old. Rkesishi said, I'm 36. I don't got time to fight guys like Sugar Nunez and make chump change. I need to make as much money as I can. And a fight in the UK against Lee Wood, who is a big name in the UK, is going to get me the kind of money I need at the later stage of my career. Anthony Rkesishi, the Irishman, dropped his title. This is how we got here, guys. Tomorrow we have Sugar Nunez. By the time we wake up, we're going to know if the guy from Sinaloa, 27 wins, 27 knockouts. And I've watched this tape, guys. He's up. He's got a considerable challenge. I've never seen this Japanese fighter. I haven't seen too much tape on Rkesishi. He's 16-1. He went and fought in Italy. I guess he fought Magnesi in Italy in March 2023. He's traveled the world. But in this case, the Mexican from Sinaloa is going to Japan, to Yokohama, I believe. And he's going to go up for this belt, man, this vacant belt. So let's quickly look, because I think I'm predicting a win against a much, much taller opponent. But I think we are going to have two Mexican champions at 130 pounds and two African Americans, which is O'Shaquie Foster. This is the fight tomorrow, guys. Rkesishi versus Nunez, brought to you by Matchroom Boxing. It will be on DAZN in the middle of the night. I don't even know what time it is. I'm not going to be awake for it to watch it, but I think by morning we should have the highlights available on YouTube. You'll probably be able to find the full fight still available on YouTube. Sometimes people illegally stream them and put them up, so you will want to check. If you're a boxing hardcore fan, you're going to want to watch this. Shout out to Matty Garcia. Appreciate you being in the chat. Fonzie says, I hate to say it, but I might go to the Jake Paul versus Chavez, but it's a bad ass undercard. Zurdo Ramirez, Schofield, El Cougar. Which is that one? I think I got that wrong. El Curiel, no? Also, Holly Holmes is on the card. That's right, guys. And speaking of that, salute Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more. Go support my brother over there and subscribe to his YouTube channel, guys. Fantastic channel on YouTube. But speaking of that fight, don't be ashamed, because the hype around that fight is probably going to be among the top boxing blockbusters. It is not going to be on Netflix, though. I don't think it is. And there's a great article written today on BoxingScene.com about that exact fight. The one that you're talking about, Fonzie, Chavez Jr. And yes, the main event, for all we know, Chavez Jr.'s, even if he puts all his heart into it, he's probably going to walk away being the loser. But you guys remember that I've been talking about this potential matchup. I was personally vested in seeing Floyd take on fighter from Canada that is signed to Most Valuable Promotions, and Lucas Body, an exciting power puncher who is contracted by MVP. And I thought, fuck, this makes perfect sense. They were in negotiations. Something fell apart. Lucas Body's brother responded to me on Twitter, X, and said that absolutely, he said this about a week ago, that absolutely not, that Floyd Schofield and his brother, Lucas Body, did not settle a fight to be on this card. Floyd Schofield, who has not been in the ring since I saw him last in Las Vegas, I think at the Cosmo, right? We go to so many fights, I forgot. Fonzie's good friends with the mom. Shit. We've been trying to holler at the mom to get some information on the down low, but Tevin Farmer came in and stepped up. Tevin Farmer, the former champion. Tevin Farmer, the guy that, in my opinion, beat William Zepeda. Didn't get the nod the first time. Didn't beat him the second time. The first time he beat him. Also didn't get the nod against Top Rank's Raymond Murataya. We saw that fight at the Palms last year. Did not get the nod correctly here. You got a former champion in Tevin Farmer at 130 pounds, now fighting at lightweight, who can beat the brakes off of young guys. This is a dangerous fight. Dangerous fight. But Floyd had signed up to fight Shakur Stevenson. He was ready to fight the current world champion, one of the best defensive fighters in all of boxing. He signed up to fight, got sick, mysterious illness, Montezuma's Saudi revenge, all up in the hospital. Had to walk away from that fight on fight week against Shakur Stevenson. If you had signed up and you said you were ready to fight for a title, then the right thing to do is to prove it by beating a former champion. This is going to be a great test. This is a very good test. Because quite honestly, you don't skip that step. And you know that Oscar had spoken that he was kind of against it. He was like, hey, you're my fighter. You're my guy. I'm invested into you, Floyd. If I don't think you're ready to fight Shakur Stevenson. I would say that the general boxing public that watches the sport religiously would say Floyd Schofield is not ready. He was dropped by a very tough Mexican fighter. Certainly not Guidon. Certainly not the kind of fighter that's going to be a world champion. And he was dropped by him. Otherwise, a good performance by Floyd Schofield. But you just don't go from that performance to, hey, I'm ready to fight Shakur Stevenson and beat Shakur. The right step to do is Tevin Farmer, 8 losses, could upset you, could school you, could take you to school, young man. Or Tevin Farmer's been in some dog fights as of late. 2 of them against William Cepeda. Another one against Raymond Murataya, who I think just picked up a minor title at 135. The interim title, in case Lomachenko retires, he might be elevated to full champion, Raymond Murataya. This is the right type of opponent. This is going to be a really tough fight for young Floyd Schofield. If he can't get past Tevin Farmer, then you pretty much know he's going to be a fringe contender and he's probably never going to achieve world champion status. You have to pass the test in beating a former world champion. With 8 losses on his notch right there, Tevin Farmer, don't underestimate Tevin Farmer. Most certainly don't underestimate Tevin Farmer. He could take you to school. You got to fight. You got to make this fight. You got to fight like this is Lomachenko, Shakur Stevenson. You know, this is the cream of the crop at 135. And you get past Tevin Farmer, you'll be back in the conversation. Now, I did like the fight against him and Lucas Badi. I love that fight. I thought that was a great fight. But unfortunately, things just didn't pan out, you know, in negotiations. So Zurdo Ramirez with the Dorico the KO Doctor is also a good match. It's a fantastic co-main event, and it all leads up to the potential for Jake Paul to one day be ranked at cruiserweight, legitimately ranked at cruiserweight, and potentially get a shot. Shout out to the best mod and awesome YouTube content creator, my homegirl Mom Food Plant and Things. Check her out. Mom Food does some great content all over. She does food. She does shopping channels. Shopping channels are big with the ladies. My wife loves shopping channels, so my wife is loving. But today I promised you guys that I would get it. I would do some tacos. All right, this is Don Tortaco. If you guys come to Vegas often, Don Tortaco has plenty of locations across the valley. On Tuesdays, they have, in my opinion, they're tied with Roberto's Tacos, which does their taco special on Wednesdays. Look at all the cheese in that chicken taco. It's nice and greasy. Tons of chicken. Tons of that cheese. That cheese. It's Taco Tuesday. I promised you at least one taco. And that spicy mango margarita. Mom Food, I'm not sure if you patronize Trader Joe's, but if you do, make sure you get one of these. For the summer, the spicy mango lemonade, it makes a fantastic base for, I mean, you could even make pops out of that. In fact, I was thinking about getting one of those popsicle molds and doing tequila popsicles with that mango lemonade. A nice little hack. Shout out to my boy Sonteo Media in the fucking is it the 619? Sorry, I had some tequila, of course. San Diego. Shout out to everybody in San Diego, guys. This is fight week. Will I see Sonteo Media again? Will I see you at the Virgin, dog? Damn, lots of things have happened at the Virgin Hotel. This Friday, another fight. And seeing you in here just reminded me, guys, that Josh Taylor, we missed each other on that particular mega fight. That's how far I go back with Sonteo Media. We missed each other at the Jose Ramirez versus Josh Taylor undisputed matchup in Las Vegas. COVID had just come to an end, was limited in seats. And there's a video on my page when at the weigh-in, both camps got into a rumble at the Virgin Hotel. It's pretty wild. It was pretty wild. I can't say I've been to a weigh-in and two camps got into a slugfest by the elevators at the Virgin. Always exciting fights. We got, of course, we got the Virgin Hotel hosting Golden Boy Boxing this Friday. You know what? Since on that quick subject, I see my boy Sonteo in here. I'm very excited to announce, guys, Bam Rodriguez will be fighting Cafu in a unification matchup. Bam obviously has full intention of unifying the division. And on the undercard is Diego Pacheco. Diego Pacheco, I swear, there was just an incident in Las Vegas where Diego Pacheco's team members assaulted a reporter named Jeremy. I ended up meeting that reporter the week after. Luckily, everybody agreed to do nothing about it. I think it was a mistake by Diego Pacheco's camp to put hands on a reporter. Could have gotten worse. I mean, you could get blackball listed in this industry very easily. And Jeremy said, you know what? I'm going to let bygones be bygones. There's no need to pursue any litigation that I'm aware of. Happy to say that. But Macumbi, who trains right here in Las Vegas, guys, Macumbi. It looks like my boy that I go way back with, Francisco Esparza, El Alacran, was his cut man when Macumbi recently fought Caleb Plant. And it looks like my boy, former boxer for Top Rank, also fought for Golden Boy, was trained by Fernando Vargas. I'm sure he's still in the business, guys. It looks like he will be the cut man, probably an assist. They're called assist, not the cut man. I'm sorry, he was the assist. You're only allowed 3 people in your corner: your trainer, your cut man, and your assist. It looks like he will be flying out for this fight in Texas, and they're promoting the hell out of this card in Texas. Today, it looked like Macumbi, Pacheco, and Bam were at the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. So I got that picture. Man, that's awesome to see them there promoting. I like that they're promoting the hell out of this fight a lot. And Sonteo Media says Puma next for Bam. Well, obviously he's got that tough test ahead of him. But man, El Puma Martinez, who, speaking of, Japan, he just went back over there in a rematch, an anticipated rematch against one of the best in Ioka. Ioka's probably going to retire or maybe have one last farewell fight in Japan. But this has been a precedent this year in 2025 where champions, legitimate champions, man, El Puma Martinez was a champion, is going over to Japan because the Japanese market is so strong. It's like the UK, man. Even though their fan base ain't all crazy and shit, even though, to be honest, I think the Angelo Leo crowd versus Kamita was pretty good. Japanese people are very, very, in comparison to American fan base, they have like a timid culture, They have a very quiet culture. They appreciate the hell out of the violence, and they make some of the best fighters in the world. They're not exactly your raucous Las Vegas crowd, man. Not at all. Not at all. But yeah, tomorrow we may have a star. If he can knock out this tall Japanese guy, Eduardo Sugar Nunez, tomorrow when we wake up, guys, we may have a new star. And really quickly, I got that 130-pound rankings really quickly? Let me see here. Thought I had the 130-pound rankings. I do, guys. Emmanuel Navarrete, El Vaquero, just recently fought in San Diego against a Filipino fighter, and that fight is still hotly contested because it looks like they are going to be reviewing it and having the sanctioning body is going to review the decision. Emmanuel Navarrete suffered a cut that should not have stopped the fight, in my opinion, but it did. And the wrong decision, they did not use the replay correctly. Had they, this would have been a TKO loss for Manuel Navarrete. He's still ranked number 1. Number 2 is Oshaki Foster, who's been to Mexico. Oshaki Foster went to Mexico and fought one of the best in Cancun. He's a current champion. He's down to go anywhere and fight. Anthony Casachi should not be number 3, in my opinion. He gave up his IBF title. Lamont Roach could very well be the number 1 fighter in this entire division. Lamont Roach arguably beat Tank Davis. Okay. Eduardo Nunez, number 7. Raymond Ford, former featherweight champion, should be much, much higher. Much, much higher. Raymond Ford. So I'm reading here. It looks like potentially, if Eduardo Nunez wins this fight, it looks like his promoter, Eddie Hearn, would most likely want to see him fight Raymond Ford, says Eddie Hearn. Next Mexican superstar, Eduardo Nunez. Sugar Nunez could face Raymond Ford, says Eddie Hearn, should he win this title. All right. Let's see here. I'm Team Vaquero, but Navarrete, I think Suarez should have won. Yeah, man. I play by the rules too, Fonzie. You know that, man. Fonzie and I have seen some great fights. We saw Virgil Ortiz versus Bohacek. Kind of a strange outcome. Virgil Ortiz was tested, came back after being dropped twice to fight his ass off. But somehow, being dropped twice, he still came out the winner. Bohacek, that kind of made me scratch my head, but it is what it is. Virgil Ortiz is still one of the most dangerous fighters at 154 pounds, hands down. Speaking of fighters who used to fight at 154, let's talk about the main event Saturday night. PBC will be available free if you have Amazon Prime. You can use your Amazon Prime app on your phone or on the TV. Happy Taco Tuesday, guys. Saturday night, free on Amazon. We'll be in the building. Caleb Plant is back after fighting McCumbee and getting tested early by McCumbee, but then coming out the former IBF world champion. This is an interim title. Caleb Plant could potentially be looking, if he wins impressively, as being a mandatory opponent to Canelo once again. Here you have, and I shouldn't chew with my mouth open, guys. I'm sorry. Shout out to everybody enjoying their lunch. It's Taco Tuesday. Caleb Plant versus Resendiz. Where have you seen Resendiz fight before? Well, he's been featured on PBC plenty of times, most famously in 2023, beating in a devastating TKO, one where he split the lip of former champion Jarrett Hurd. Arguably the best win of Resendiz's career came at 154 pounds. A total freaking slugfest. 154 pounds of 168, guys. Very few people make that giant momentous leap and are effective. He beat a former world champion. He didn't beat a current champion. I can't say Resendiz of Mexico was ever a champion. It was a fantastic win. Jarrett Hurd is a shadow of himself at this point in 2025. He's now fought at middleweight. Looks like it's probably the end of the rope for him. That's his best win. He comes back in 2023 and fights middleweight prospect Elijah Garcia, who recently has a devastating loss. Elijah Garcia has a devastating loss, a major setback in his career, where Resendiz steps up in competition. He steps up in weight. He doesn't step up in competition. Again, Elijah Garcia in 2023 was considered a hot prospect. Gets his fucking ass beat. He gets hurt in the very first round, almost gets dropped, somehow survives that, but ends up getting stopped in the 8th round on his first visit to 160 pounds. Resendiz being a tough guy that can throw a shitload of punches. Bit off more than he can chew, in my opinion. moving up to fight Elijah Garcia at 160. Fonzie says, Resendiz has fought at the Toyota Center in Ontario. That's the only reason I know he is. He's a tough kid. Tough kid. And because of that, I think Caleb Plant can probably take off some of the very early rounds and let Resendiz see what he's got, see how much he can throw. I don't think Caleb Plant is going to be concerned at all about the power from Resendiz, because Resendiz really should be probably fighting at 154 pounds. He's moving up 2 weight classes now from where I thought he was best, 154. And I don't think he's the kind of opponent that would currently beat some of the toughest 154-pound guys. But I do think he's such a tough Mexican that he's going to give Caleb Plant some work early. There is a sizable size difference. Considerable size difference. Where's the tail of the tape? Where's the tail of the tape? Caleb Plant stands around 6'1". Resendiz about 5'10", maybe shorter. 5'10", 6'1". Caleb Plant being a former IBF world champion who, loss against Canelo will go down as probably one of the last great performances by Canelo Alvarez. That's the last time I can remember Canelo Alvarez knocking anybody out, and that's Caleb Plant. And Caleb Plant really tried. Unlike some of the guys that fought afterwards, Canelo, Charlo, who decided he would dance for 12 rounds. Other guys have been in the ring with Canelo Alvarez. William Skull, I'm going to dance. I'm going to dance for 12 rounds and just survive and get this paycheck. Caleb Plant actually fought to win against Canelo Alvarez, against a very peak performance Canelo Alvarez. And ultimately, he lost his title. And no shame. He became endeared himself with the Latino community. Like I said, he has a ton of Latino fans. And I think, his relationship with his wife, who is a PBC Fox commentator, and their children, and the fact that Caleb Plant has some tragedy in his life, once losing a child early on in his early life. The guy grew up in poverty. I think he's a fan favorite, man. Caleb Plant is a fan favorite. Let's talk about this fight. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it 100. This is what you would categorize potentially as a stay busy card. The card on Friday for Golden Boy is not much better. Charlo fighting La Mana, an Italian from the East Coast, a true East Coast club fighter in La Mana. Fonzie says he's seen Resendiz fight before. I doubt any of you have ever seen La Mana fight, because he's the type of club fighter, throwback club fighter from the East Coast that fights on regional shows. And he's also stepping up in competition, stepping up in weight to fight an undefeated Charlo. For Charlo, he's got to get back into shape. He's got to get back consistent and see what he could do at 168. Because when Canelo leaves this division, some of these guys are going to be young enough to still potentially pick up being a world titleist again. Great example of that, in my opinion, is Caleb Plant. I think he stands an excellent chance at becoming a world champion again, should Canelo vacate some of those titles or leave. Lara destroyed La Mana in seconds in LA. See, I already forgot that. And that's right. Was that knockout at 160 pounds when he first went up in weight? That's the card he appeared at, right? If I remember, it was an outdoor fight, right? Where Irslando Lara knocked this guy out in 1 or 2 rounds. That's one of his... I think Kermel Moten's on the card. It should be a fun night, guys. This is ultimately, let's just keep it real. No cap. You see Caleb Plant on top. You see Charlo. You know they have bad blood. This is strictly devised to get fan engagement so we could see this matchup as soon as possible. Hopefully, everything goes according to script, because we just saw that Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia had what should have been relatively easy challenges, and both of them look like shit. I don't anticipate on seeing Charlo and Caleb Plant look like shit. Maybe we'll see one of the two look like shit. Probably Charlo, in my opinion. Or barely look good. But that's the plan, guys. They got to stick to the script. The script is both of you come away with impressive wins, or at the very least, both come away with victories, and we could get Caleb Plant versus Charlo at the end of 2025. I like that fight. Everybody's going to like that fight. True bad blood. The other true bad blood is Caleb Plant versus Edgar Berlanga, who's getting ready to fight Shiraz in New York. That's going to be a hell of a fight this summer. Beck the Bully needs to win this weekend. Beck the Bully, is a guy that prior to that loss to Gabe Rosado, people thought he was going to be a world champion type guy at 168. Super middleweight division has all these guys that could be something, but they got to step it up. Beck the Bully needs to win against Fulgham this Friday. The more dramatic, the better, because it puts him in the conversation with these elite top 5 fighters, Jaime Munguia and other guys in that division. Caleb Plant. Could he potentially be an opponent one day to Canelo Alvarez? Could Beck the Bully rise himself in the rankings enough to get himself a crack at Canelo Alvarez? That's Friday, guys. Friday, Beck the Bully. We got this fight. Carmel Moten should be on the card. I believe, I understand he's going to be on the card. This fight probably gets underway starting around 5 o'clock on Saturday. Appreciate everybody that's here today on a Tuesday. I do got to get back to work pretty soon, if not now. So it looks like tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow is the grand arrivals at the Mandalay Bay Casino. So I think I'm going to go head down there to see the grand arrivals, Caleb Plant. From what I saw, Caleb Plant wanted to work out first at the open workout. So tune in tomorrow around 4:35 on the Showdown and follow along with me and some commentary. We'll see who we run into. Friday, they got the live weigh-ins. I don't think I'll be going to that, but look for a show tomorrow night. Drew Evo and I should be back on the air around 8 o'clock tomorrow night after I get back and go live either tomorrow night or Thursday for a full episode of the Showdown. Again, guys, if you're into the boxing for tonight, if you're up or first thing in the morning, check your sources, check YouTube, check boxingscene.com, because we are going to have a brand new champion at 130 pounds. And it could be very well be this guy right here, Eduardo Sugar Nunez of Sinaloa. All right, that's all I got for today, guys. I appreciate everybody that was in here. Mom, Food, Fonzie, Sontel Media, the whole gang. Everybody that showed some support, I appreciate you. We'll be back on the air tomorrow, man. Until then, peace out.